Visitors to China are familiar with the famous brick wall, built in the 1500s to defend against the Mongol hordes. But its origins started much earlier as sun-baked mud.
You see a wall like a stone dragon twisting and turning along the mountain ridges, a symbol of isolation, unshakable power, and thousands of years of history. The Great Wall of China.
When it was being operated 400 years ago, guards in towers at the east end of the wall would witness the sunrise 1 hour and 20 minutes before guards at the western end of the same wall would witness the same event.
We are told it was built for defense, a monument to human determination. But what if that's not the whole truth? What if it's merely a facade, a screen concealing something much older, darker, and far more mysterious? In 2018, during restoration work on one section, laborers stumbled upon an anomaly. Beneath the foundation of a Ming dynasty tower, they uncovered older stonework, and embedded within the wall itself, like grim building blocks, lay 80 human skulls, young women's skulls. An investigation revealed that these women were sacrifices, but they were not the builders of the wall. Their remains were hundreds of years older than the Ming dynasty itself. They belonged to another age, another culture, and another forgotten ritual. This discovery was quietly suppressed. It did not fit the convenient story, but it raised the question that drives this entire investigation. What is the Great Wall really hiding? Not on its surface, but beneath it, in the soil soaked with the blood of civilizations we barely know existed. This isn't just the story of a wall. It's the story of what the wall conceals. Our investigation doesn't begin with the wall itself, but with a sight-long thought to be part of it. In northern Shanxi province, on the arid hills of the Loess Plateau, stand ancient stone ramparts. Locals always called them part of the Great Wall. After all, the official wall route passes nearby. But in the 1970s, something strange began to happen. Farmers working their fields and looters digging for relics started to uncover jade, carved plates, ritual discs, and translucent greenish blades of stone. This was a puzzle. The nearest jade deposits are thousands of kilometers away. How could so much of this prized mineral be here, in such a dry and remote place? That was the first thread. Pulling it unraveled one of the greatest mysteries in Chinese history. By the early 21st century, full-scale excavations revealed that these ruins weren't part of the Great Wall at all. They were the remains of a prehistoric megacity that wasn't supposed to exist. Archaeologists named it Shimao. Radiocarbon dating shocked the academic world. Shimao was built about 4,300 years ago in the Neolithic era, 500 years before the Xia dynasty, traditionally seen as China's first civilization. While the ancestors of the Xia lived in small mud-brick villages along the Yellow River, here on the periphery thrived a vast metropolis. Its technology and culture were centuries ahead of their time. Shimao wasn't just a city, it was a fortress state. Covering over 400 hectares, it was twice the size of Beijing's Forbidden City. It was encircled by double stone walls stretching more than 10 kilometers, reinforced with bastions, watchtowers, and elaborate gates designed to trap invaders. At its heart rose a massive stepped pyramid, 70 meters tall. But it was no tomb. On its terraced platforms and flat summit lay an 80,000 square meter palace complex, home to the city's rulers, who looked down over their empire. At the pyramid's base, archaeologists found workshops producing bone tools, ceramics, silk threads, and of course, jade. But alongside these signs of high culture was something far darker. Near the eastern gate, 6 pits were discovered, filled with 80 carefully arranged skulls of young women aged 15 to 25. Evidence showed they had been ritually sacrificed, likely during the construction of the gates. Their deaths were meant to secure the city's protection and prosperity. And these weren't isolated cases. Across Shimao, under walls and foundations, pits with human remains were uncovered. This was a culture built on blood. Why would a thriving society, advanced in crafts and construction, resort to such brutal rituals? And what about the jade? Blades were deliberately embedded between the wall stones, as if the mineral itself held magical protective power. Then, around 1800 BCE, after 5 centuries of prosperity, Shimao was suddenly abandoned. No signs of war, no signs of destruction. Its people simply left, leaving behind walls, pyramids, and bones. The most likely cause? A catastrophic drought about 4,000 years ago, which turned fertile land into desert. Shimao's discovery rewrote Chinese history. It proved that civilization here didn't emerge from a single cradle, but from the interaction of many complex and often brutal cultures. Shimao may have been the most powerful of them, yet its memory vanished, buried beneath the sands, erased until its ruins were rediscovered. Ironically, 2 millennia later, the Great Wall would be built in the same region, unknowingly casting its shadow over Shimao's forgotten bones. Shimao pushed the timeline of Chinese statehood back by 500 years, but what came before? To find those traces, we must travel east, to Ningxia's Shuidonggu region. At first glance, it's just a canyon carved into the loess, but for archaeologists, it's one of the most important Stone Age sites in Asia. In 1920, French paleontologist Émile Lisson found a fossilized rhino horn and unusual worked stones here. That was only the beginning. Shuidonggu turned out to be not one site, but 12 Paleolithic camps spread across several kilometers. Like pages in a book, each layer revealed another chapter of human history. The oldest layers, dating back 40,000 years, held remains of woolly rhinos, giant deer, and mammoths, animals hunted by early humans. But these weren't ordinary hunters. They used the levallois technique, a sophisticated stone knapping method once thought unique to Neanderthals in Europe and the Middle East. Finding it here sparked fierce debate. Were these Homo sapiens who migrated from the West, or an independent innovation? But the real surprises came from 30,000-year-old layers. Alongside stone tools were cultural artifacts, over 80 ostrich eggshell beads, perfectly polished, drilled with microscopic precision, many painted red with ochre. Think about it. During the harsh Ice Age, people still spent time making jewelry. This speaks of complex society, identity, and aesthetics. And ostrich eggshells were imported, evidence of ancient trade networks stretching hundreds, perhaps thousands, of kilometers. Even more astonishing, 13,000-year-old layers revealed bone needles with eyes, the oldest ever found in China. Proof that these people weren't just draping skins, but sewing fitted clothing that allowed survival in harsh climates. Shuidonggu is a window into deep time. It shows that long before Shimao, long before dynasties, this land was home to innovative, artistic, and resourceful humans. The Great Wall would eventually rise on top of their forgotten legacy. When we imagine the Great Wall, we picture one continuous structure built by a single emperor. That's the greatest myth. In truth, what we call the Great Wall is a patchwork of walls, fortresses, and towers built by different dynasties across 2,000 years. Much of it has vanished. In 2011, explorer William Lindesay used Google Earth to spot a faint line stretching 100 kilometers across the Gobi Desert. An expedition confirmed it, a lost section built between 1040 and 1160 CE by the Western Xia dynasty. But this wasn't stone brickwork like the Ming Wall tourists know. It was made of tamped earth, clay, saxaul branches, and black volcanic basalt. Yet here's the mystery. No trace of garrisons was found. No pottery shards, no coins, no arrowheads. Even watchtowers were missing. It was a ghost wall, built but seemingly never used. Why? Possibly abandoned as Genghis Khan's Mongols grew too powerful. In 1227, they obliterated Western Xia so thoroughly that almost nothing of their culture survived. The wall was left to the desert, forgotten until satellites rediscovered it. Official history calls the wall an impenetrable barrier. But what if it was more like a membrane, riddled with secret passages? Ancient military texts hinted at hidden gates, but most historians dismissed them. That changed in 2018, when drones and photogrammetry revealed more than 130 previously unknown secret doors. From the north, they were indistinguishable from the wall's surface. From inside, soldiers could dismantle them quickly. Some were narrow spy holes, Others were wide enough for cavalry. Imagine a Mongol siege, only for a Chinese cavalry unit to suddenly appear from solid wall behind enemy lines. Even more surprising, some doors were for trade. Nomads were allowed through in peacetime to graze cattle or exchange goods. The wall wasn't just defense, it was also a customs border and economic tool, and the wall itself was alive. Ming builders mixed sticky rice into mortar, creating a super strong waterproof compound. Even more incredible, recent studies revealed cyanobacteria and moss-forming biocrusts on earthen sections, naturally strengthening the wall. The wall wasn't just built, it was grown, a self-healing organism. And it was armed. In 2022, archaeologists near Beijing found 59 hollow stone grenades, thunderstones filled with gunpowder. This was the wall's hidden arsenal, ready to rain fire and noise on attackers. In 2014, ground scans revealed tunnels under the wall, brick-lined corridors connecting towers, allowing secret movement of troops and supplies. The scale of this underground system remains unknown. And here, history loops back. Chinese state media sometimes mention the Underground Great Wall, a modern network of over 5,000 kilometers of tunnels, begun in the 1980s, designed to hide mobile nuclear launchers. Like the ancient wall, it uses underground space for defense, secrecy, and survival. Finally, we leave the wall for Sichuan province. In 2001, builders uncovered treasures of the lost city of Jinsha: golden masks, bronze statues, jade, ivory. These belong to a civilization contemporary with the Shang dynasty, but utterly different, evolving in isolation. Like Shimao, the Jinsha and Sanxingdui cultures suddenly vanished, leaving behind artifacts so alien they seem otherworldly. The Great Wall was built to protect one version of Chinese history, the Central Plains dynasties. But Shimao, Jinsha, and Sanxingdui reveal other Chinas, powerful, advanced, yet forgotten. We began with skulls inside the wall and ended with nuclear tunnels beneath it. Along the way, we uncovered that the Great Wall isn't the beginning of history. It's its culmination. It stands atop 40,000 years of human presence, Neolithic empires, forgotten kingdoms, and erased civilizations. The wall is not a simple barrier, but a living, breathing organism, armed, deceptive, and riddled with secrets. And perhaps its greatest mystery is not what it hides in stone, but what it reveals about memory, how entire cultures vanish, how history is rewritten, and how truths lie buried, waiting for us to rediscover them. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. Thanks for watching.